A YouTube influencer mocked a 79-year-old veteran at a luxury restaurant, not knowing the quiet man in the corner booth was watching everything. Brandon Chase was filming his newest prank video when he deliberately bumped into Marcus Webb, spilling the veteran's coffee all over his service medals. Marcus had been invited to the restaurant's annual Veterans Appreciation Dinner, a suit-and-tie event honoring those who served. He wore his dress uniform with pride, displaying ribbons from Korea and 2 tours nobody talked about. "Watch where you're going, Fossil," Brandon laughed, his cameraman catching every angle. "Those fake medals probably came from a costume shop anyway." His crew of 3 snickered while setting up different camera positions. "Bet you never even left the country, just another wannabe hero looking for free meals," Brandon continued, zooming in on Marcus's face. Marcus was struggling to stand, his arthritis making quick movements painful. "Young man, please. This uniform means something." His voice was steady despite the humiliation. "Yeah, it means you're begging for attention, Grandpa," Brandon mocked. "This is gonna break the internet. Old guy pretending to be a war hero gets exposed." What Brandon didn't know was that Sheikh Abdullah al-Mansouri, one of the wealthiest men in the Middle East, was dining in the private corner booth. He'd been in America for business meetings and chose this restaurant specifically because of their Veteran Appreciation Program. The sheikh had lost his grandfather fighting alongside Allied forces in World War II. He saw everything. Brandon knocked Marcus's cane away, sending it clattering across the marble floor. "Oops, my bad. Can't walk without your little stick?" Marcus reached for the wall to steady himself, his Purple Heart medal catching the light. "Please, I don't want any trouble. I'm just here for the dinner." "Nobody invited you, old man. This is a restaurant for people who matter, not welfare cases in costume." The sheikh stood up slowly, his 3 bodyguards immediately alert. He didn't rush. He simply walked toward the commotion with the bearing of someone who'd commanded respect his entire life. His white thobe and gold-trimmed bisht made him look like royalty, which, technically, he was. "Excuse me," the sheikh said in perfect English, his accent barely noticeable. "Is there a problem here?" Brandon turned, seeing an opportunity for more content. "Yeah, this faker is pretending to be some war hero. Probably bought those medals on eBay." He pointed his camera at the sheikh. "You look rich. Want to be in my video? I've got 8 million subscribers." The sheikh ignored him completely and addressed Marcus. "Sir, may I ask where you served?" Marcus straightened, despite his pain. "Korean War, sir. 7th Infantry Division. Later did 2 classified tours I'm not permitted to discuss." The sheikh's eyes showed recognition and respect. "My grandfather fought in North Africa with the British, 8th Army. He taught me that a soldier's honor is sacred." He looked at Brandon with cold contempt. "And you just desecrated it." "Whatever, old dude," Brandon said dismissively. "This content is gold. My fans love when I expose fake heroes." He turned back to Marcus. "How much did you pay for that uniform? Bet you got it at a thrift store." Brandon reached out and flicked one of Marcus's medals. "Probably plastic." That medal was Marcus's Silver Star, earned when he saved 12 men during an ambush near the Yalu River. The sheikh saw Marcus's hands ball into fists, then relax. The old soldier had discipline even now. "Young man," the sheikh said quietly, "you have made a terrible mistake." "Yeah? What are you going to do about it, oil baron?" Brandon laughed. "Cancel me? Everyone tries, nobody succeeds." The sheikh pulled out his phone and made a single call. He spoke in Arabic, brief and commanding. Then he looked at Brandon with the same expression he probably used in boardrooms when destroying business rivals. "I am Sheikh Abdullah al-Mansouri. I own this restaurant. I own the building it's in, and I am about to own your entire future." Brandon's smirk faltered slightly. "Wait, you own this place?" "I own 73 restaurants across 6 countries, the sheikh replied. "This particular establishment holds special meaning because my friend died saving my life during a diplomatic mission in Beirut. He was a U.S. Marine." The sheikh's voice dropped lower. He was 24 years old and earned his medals through blood, not clicks. The restaurant had gone completely silent. Every diner was watching. The manager appeared, looking terrified. "Sheikh al-Mansouri, I apologize. I didn't know there was—" The sheikh raised his hand. "Marcus, is it?" He addressed the veteran gently. Would you do me the honor of joining me at my table? I would very much like to hear your stories. Marcus looked shocked. Sir, I couldn't impose. You would honor me, the sheikh insisted. My grandfather would have wanted me to share a meal with a fellow warrior. He glanced at his bodyguards. Please help Mr. Webb to my booth and retrieve his cane. Brandon tried to film this exchange. This is perfect. Rich guy and fake soldier become friends. My audience will eat this. One of the sheikh's bodyguards, a former French foreign legionnaire named Claude, removed the camera from Brandon's hands with professional efficiency. Hey, that's a $15,000 camera rig. Now it is evidence, the sheikh said calmly. He looked at Brandon's crew. All cameras, please. My legal team will need them. Brandon's cameraman and 2 assistants suddenly realized this wasn't content anymore. This was serious. They handed over their equipment without protest, backing toward the exit. You can't do this, Brandon protested. I have rights. This is America. Indeed it is, the sheikh agreed, which means Mr. Webb has the right not to be assaulted and harassed. You touched him. Without permission, you destroyed his property. And you did it all on camera. He smiled without warmth. Your evidence will be your conviction. Brandon tried to leave. Claude stepped in front of him, immovable. The sheikh has not dismissed you. The sheikh was helping Marcus to the private booth, treating him with profound respect. Once Marcus was comfortable, the sheikh sat across from him. Please, order anything you wish. Tonight, you are my guest. Brandon stood there, surrounded by bodyguards, watching his video empire crumble in real time. The sheikh made another phone call, this time in English so everyone could hear. Yes, this is Sheikh Al-Mansouri. I need my attorneys at Le Chateau restaurant immediately. We have a case of elder abuse and assault on a military veteran. The perpetrator filmed everything. Dude, chill, Brandon said nervously. It was just a prank? I prank everyone. That's my brand. Your brand is cruelty, the sheikh replied without looking at him. I have watched your videos. You pushed a pregnant woman at a grocery store. You stole a homeless veteran's dog. You mocked a cancer patient at a hospital. Brandon's face went pale. How do you know about those? Because I make it my business to know about people who harm veterans, the sheikh said. I fund 17 veteran organizations worldwide. When your videos surface, my people notify me. He finally looked at Brandon. I've been waiting for you to make a mistake in a property I control. Marcus spoke quietly from the booth. Sir, you don't need to do all this for me. I'm nobody special. The sheikh's expression softened when he looked at Marcus. My grandfather told me something before he died. He said the truest measure of a nation is how it treats its warriors after the battle ends. He gestured at Brandon. This child represents a disease in modern culture. Fame without honor. Attention without achievement. The sheikh's lawyers arrived within 15 minutes, 3 of them, each carrying briefcases that probably cost more than Brandon's car. They reviewed the camera footage right there in the restaurant. One attorney, a sharp-eyed woman named Patricia Chen, smiled grimly. We have clear assault, elder abuse, and destruction of property. The medals alone are federal evidence of valor. Tampering with them is a federal crime. Federal? Brandon's voice cracked. Those medals are protected under the Stolen Valor Act, Patricia explained. Physical interference with legitimate military decorations carries serious penalties. She looked at the sheikh. We could pursue this criminally and civilly. Both, the sheikh said simply. He turned to Marcus. With your permission, of course. This is your choice. Marcus looked at Brandon, really looked at him. He saw a young man who'd never learned respect, never understood sacrifice, never faced real consequences. I forgive him, Marcus said quietly. Everyone turned to stare at the veteran. What? Brandon said, shocked. You forgive me? I've seen real evil, Marcus explained. I've watched good men die. I've held friends while they took their last breaths. He met Brandon's eyes. You're not evil. You're just empty, and that might be worse. The sheikh nodded slowly. Forgiveness is honorable, but it does not erase consequences. He addressed Brandon directly. Here is what will happen. You will delete every video where you have harmed, mocked, or humiliated anyone. That's like 60% of my content, Brandon protested weakly. Then you will have much deleting to do, the sheikh replied. Second, you will make a public apology video explaining exactly what you did here tonight. No edits, no excuses. Brandon's hands shook. My sponsors will drop me. My followers will leave. Perhaps you should have considered that before assaulting a war hero, Patricia said coldly. But the sheikh wasn't finished. Third, you will volunteer at the Veterans Community Center for 1 year, 50 hours per month. You will listen to their stories. You will learn what real courage looks like. He leaned forward. And if you miss even 1 hour, I will personally ensure every legal remedy is pursued to its fullest extent. Brandon slumped against the wall. This is going to destroy everything I've built. You built nothing, Marcus said from the booth, his voice gaining strength. You constructed a monument to yourself from other people's pain. That's not building, that's scavenging. The sheikh stood and walked over to Brandon. Up close, his presence was overwhelming. This was a man who negotiated with presidents and kings. Young man, you wanted to go viral. Congratulations. By morning, every news outlet in America will have this story. He handed Brandon his phone. Start deleting, now. Brandon's fingers trembled as he opened his YouTube channel. Video after video disappeared. The one where he mocked a veteran with PTSD. The one where he harassed a disabled woman. The one where he destroyed a child's science project. His comment sections had always been toxic, but he'd encouraged it. Engagement was engagement. While Brandon deleted his legacy, the sheikh returned to Marcus. They spent the next hour talking. Marcus told stories about Korea, about the cold, about watching Chinese forces pour across the Yalu River. The sheikh shared stories his grandfather had told him about El Alamein, about Montgomery, about surviving in the desert. Your grandfather sounds like a remarkable man, Marcus said. As do you, the sheikh replied, and I hope I've done right by both your memories tonight. They shared a meal that cost more than Brandon made in a month. The sheikh insisted Marcus try every dish, told him stories about where each recipe originated. Brandon finished deleting. His channel looked skeletal now, from 8 million subscribers and 200 million views down to a handful of travel vlogs and cooking attempts. His revenue would drop to nearly nothing. I'm done, he said quietly. The apology video, Patricia reminded him. Make it now. Brandon set up his phone, his hands still shaking. He recorded everything. What he'd done to Marcus, why it was wrong, how he'd built his career on cruelty. He didn't try to make excuses. The sheikh's lawyers made sure of that. When he finished, Patricia reviewed it. It'll do. Post it. Brandon posted it to his gutted channel. Then, the sheikh made him post it to every social media platform he had. Within minutes, the video started spreading, not because it was entertaining, because it was a confession. Brandon watched his follower count drop in real time, thousands leaving every minute. Sponsors sent termination emails. His agent dropped him via text message. The Porsche lease company called about repossession. The police arrived shortly after. The sheikh had called them himself. Brandon was arrested for assault and elder abuse. As the officers cuffed him, Marcus stood and walked over slowly. Son, do you know why I wore this uniform tonight? Brandon shook his head, tears starting to fall. Sergeant Timothy Parker, Marcus said, my best friend. We joined up together, fought together. He died on Hill 180 covering our retreat. Marcus's voice grew stronger. He was 22 years old when Chinese artillery found our position. His last words were, "Tell my mom I was brave." The restaurant was silent except for Marcus's voice. I've told his mother that story every year for 71 years. She's 94 now in a nursing home. But she still smiles when I visit because she knows her son mattered. Marcus looked at Brandon with profound sadness. You share his first name, Timothy Brandon Parker, but you don't share his character. Brandon couldn't meet his eyes. I'm sorry, he whispered. No, you're scared, Marcus said. Sorry comes later, if at all, if you're capable of it. The police led Brandon away. His mugshot would be online within hours. But something unexpected happened over the next few days. Marcus's story went viral for all the right reasons. News outlets picked it up. People learned about his silver star, his 2 Purple Hearts, his classified missions that were finally declassified. They learned he'd spent 50 years visiting veterans in hospitals, working at food banks, helping homeless veterans find housing. A GoFundMe appeared, started by someone who'd been at the restaurant. It raised $400,000 in 4 days. Marcus donated every penny to the Veterans Community Center. The sheikh matched it dollar for dollar, then announced a $10 million endowment in Marcus's name for veteran mental health services. The sheikh also made Marcus an offer. "I would be honored if you would accept a position as cultural advisor for my veteran programs. We need someone who understands both the sacrifice and the healing." Marcus, overwhelmed, accepted. The sheikh had his legal team arrange everything, including full medical coverage for Marcus's arthritis and other service-related conditions. Brandon got 90 days in jail and 3 years probation. His parents, who'd enabled his behavior for years, finally cut him off financially. His apartment was foreclosed, his car repossessed, everything he'd bought with blood money from his cruel content vanished. His cellmate was a former Marine named Rodriguez who'd made stupid choices after leaving the service. "You're that influencer punk," Rodriguez said the first night. "Yeah," Brandon admitted quietly. "My grandfather was in Korea with the 1st Marine Division," Rodriguez said. "Chosin Reservoir. He never talked about it much, but I saw his medals." He looked at Brandon with contempt. "You mocked a man who probably saw hell itself." Over the next 3 months, Rodriguez told Brandon what his grandfather had shared before dying. The cold so intense it froze weapons, friends dying beside you, fighting your way through 10 Chinese divisions. "My grandfather said the only thing that kept them alive was honor," Rodriguez explained. "The promise they'd made to come home or die trying, not for fame, not for clicks, for each other." Brandon listened, really listened, maybe for the first time in his life. When he was released, he was a different person, thinner, quieter, humble. He worked 3 jobs to save money: fast food in the morning, warehouse work in the afternoon, cleaning offices at night. After 6 months, he'd saved $8,000. He showed up at the Veterans Community Center on a Saturday morning. Marcus was there, helping organize a food drive. "Mr. Webb," Brandon said quietly. Marcus turned, studied him carefully. "You fulfilled your volunteer requirement months ago." "I know," Brandon said, "but I want to keep coming, if you'll have me." He handed Marcus an envelope. Inside was $8,000 in cash. "It's not much, but it's clean money. For the veteran programs." Marcus's eyes glistened. "This means more than you know." "Why?" Brandon asked. "Because money is just money," Marcus explained. "But time and sweat, that shows transformation." Brandon broke down crying right there in the community center. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. "Timothy would have forgiven you too. He had a big heart, bigger than mine." They sat on a bench, and Marcus told him stories about Timothy Parker, about his laugh, his terrible singing voice, his devotion to his family, about the way he'd volunteered for the dangerous missions because he couldn't ask others to do what he wouldn't. "Can I do something with my platform?" Brandon asked eventually. "What's left of it?" "You have 8,000 followers now," Marcus noted. "Mostly people who stayed to see if you'd actually change." "I want to interview veterans," Brandon said. "Let them tell their real stories. No pranks, no jokes, just honor." Marcus smiled. Timothy would have liked that. The sheikh, who still checked in on Marcus regularly, funded a new documentary series. Brandon interviewed over 50 veterans in the first year: Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan. Men and women who'd served with honor and came home to silence. The series didn't go viral in the traditional sense. It didn't get millions of views. But it got the right views. Veterans organizations shared it. Schools used it for history classes. Families watched it with their children to understand what Grandpa never talked about. Brandon called it the Timothy Parker Legacy Project. Every episode ended with the same message: honor isn't content, service isn't clickbait, and heroes deserve our reverence, not our ridicule. Marcus is 82 now. He still visits the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. every year. The sheikh flies him there on his private jet and accompanies him personally. They stand together at the Wall of Names, finding Timothy Parker's name among the thousands. Brandon volunteers at the Veterans Community Center 40 hours a month now, more than required. He's earned his GED and started taking college classes in social work. He wants to help veterans transition back to civilian life. It's what Timothy would have done, he tells people. The video of his apology is still online. It has 3 million views now, not because it's entertaining, but because it's real. Parents show it to their children as a lesson, teachers use it in ethics classes, and sometimes veterans in the comments section say they forgive him too. The Sheikh established the Timothy Parker Scholarship Fund, providing full college tuition for descendants of Korean War veterans. Marcus helps interview applicants every year. He tells them about Timothy, keeps his memory alive for a new generation. Brandon's new channel has 50,000 subscribers. Every single one chose to be there. No algorithms, no pranks, no cruelty. Just stories of service and sacrifice. He'll never be famous again, not like before. But he's building something real this time, something that would make Timothy Brandon Parker proud. The Sheikh still meets with Marcus monthly. They've become genuine friends, bound by their shared respect for those who serve. My grandfather would have loved you, the Sheikh tells Marcus often. And Timothy would have loved seeing what you've built, Marcus replies. Keep in mind, there are still people in this world who believe in honor over likes, character over clicks, and protecting those who protected us. So don't mock a veteran ever, especially in front of someone who understands the true price of freedom. If you believe respect and honor still matter, subscribe to this channel and show your support.